All I do is adore you all of the time.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Ascend Hyperion, the home slice, and today I'm going to be answering one of the biggest, most debated, and historically one of the most secretive questions regarding Forge. Today, I'm going to spill the beans on how a Forge map goes from just an idea all the way into a matchmaking playlist. Let me frame the video up really quick. First, I'm going to tackle some of the myths regarding how a map enters matchmaking. Throughout most of Forge's history, it's been a rather reclusive and mystifying process, and because of that, the community at large has compiled their collective ideas on how to get a map into matchmaking, and well, some of you are just flat out wrong. Next, I'm going to talk about the process by which a map enters matchmaking from conception all the way to implementation. Now, be warned, I am purposely going to exclude the use of names of all individuals involved in this process. I know that seems a little funny since this whole video is actually mostly about transparency, but I'll explain the motive for that decision later. Let's address some of the common matchmaking myths first though. First myth, you have to be a popular forger to get a map into matchmaking. Wrong. Seriously, this one is ultra wrong. Any forger of any notability in the community is just as eligible for matchmaking maps as anyone else. No, seriously, I'm going to cite this resource several times, but on ForgeHub.com there is a compiled list of all maps to ever enter matchmaking in Halo 5, including their authors, and a quick glance at the list will have you asking one thing: who the hell is that? In fact, the majority of most popular members in the community don't actually have maps in matchmaking. This includes people such as Forge Labs and Unsorted Guy. No, I'm not bashing those two. I'm just pointing out that subs do not equal maps in matchmaking. Next myth. 343 never adds Forge maps to matchmaking. Why bother? Incorrect. Flat out incorrect. Since Forge's release, there have been over 100 Forge maps passed through matchmaking in both permanent and rotational playlists. I have no idea where this one comes from. Maybe from people who only play the HCS playlist? I don't know. Variety people, it's the spice of life. Next myth. You have to know somebody to get a map into matchmaking, aka only the inner circle of forgers get maps in matchmaking. Let me refer to a line in a previous myth. Who the hell is that? Contrary to popular belief, there is no defined inner circle of forgers in the matchmaking cult. That said, there is an element of truth to this myth, and this is where I'll start talking about the system behind matchmaking maps. As it stands, right now, a Forge map can enter matchmaking if and only if 343 Industries decides they want to create either a new playlist or expand an existing one. Once that initiative is revealed to the community, members trusted by 343 to scour the community will begin compiling maps that may be applicable for the desired playlist. But do you actually need to know these members directly? No. What you must do is actively engage with the Forge community at large so that your content is made open to the right people per se. Now I know some of you are already grumbling, why doesn't 343 just check every map so it can be fair? Well, the answer lies within the sentiment. Bluntly put, 343 does not have the time to check every map from every Sally Hoo-Ha and Sam So-So ever made. It's just not reasonable. Playing your map in the customs browser for 30 minutes a day is never going to guarantee someone on the lookout for matchmaking hopefuls will see it. You, yes you, must make the effort on your own to get out there, interact, and share. If not for anything else, it can only benefit you as a forger. Some of you are probably curious about these trusted community members I spoke of earlier, and if you're looking for names, you won't find them. Some might remember a time where people with these positions were made public to the community, and to comment on the old system briefly, some people couldn't handle the title, recognition, and power associated with said role. Their selfish actions resulted in the closing of the previous system in favor of the current. With how things are arranged now, a much larger group of diverse individuals act from the shadows to gather up as much cool community content as possible. I won't dwell on this too long, but I would be confident on reassuring all forgers that these particular community members are your peers and have your best interests in mind. Alright, we've been really vague for too long. Let's get specific. Your map has just been brought into consideration for a new playlist. Now what? Well, first your map will be vetted in secret by members doing the behind the scenes outreach. If there's potential, we now enter what is broadly defined as the testing phase. Over the next couple days to even weeks, members mentioned prior will thoroughly test maps to evaluate gameplay and value in a map. This is often done with fresh groups of people to generate a wider range of feedback. If the testing groups decide the map is continually living up to its expectations, it will move to internal testing with 343. There, maps will be evaluated for gameplay once again, as well as properly vetted for exploits, map-breaking glitches, etc., etc. It's often within the internal testing phase a map will, reach its end. It's important to understand that the decision on what enters matchmaking always rests with 343 exclusively. They have the complete authoritative power to decide a map should no longer be pursued. In some instances, a map may even receive approval but still not enter matchmaking. During the testing process, a map is actually prepared for a range of game modes and team variations, even if the map may not be intended for them. This is a standard practice in 343's matchmaking map quality standard assurance. Throughout this entire process, you will work both with the community matchmaking team and 343 directly to gather feedback, make changes, change said changes, get more feedback, change changes again, etc., etc., so on and so on. So after a month or 2 or 3 of rigorous testing, your map gets the green light. What do you do now? Well, you wait and you keep your mouth shut. Exciting, right? To be honest, this is almost the worst part of the process. Waiting. Like I said, only 343 gets to pull the trigger on the playlist. I want to wrap this video up by directly talking about the Extermination playlist and how it came to reach matchmaking. Some of you may already be aware, but I was directly involved with both the formation of the mode and I was an original map maker for Extermination at its launch. When we first cast Xterm out into the community, we had no real dreams of matchmaking. However, as the mode grew in popularity, thanks largely in part to the competitive community members such as Naded and Vetoed, 343 approached us with an expressed interest in a full playlist. They were both inquisitive and helpful throughout the whole process, allowing us to preserve elements that we held dear as well as helping us make adjustments based on the industry knowledge that they had. There was a drive from both the community and developers to make this playlist real. This is a unified effort and something that goes unseen by the majority of the players. Most recently, the Halo 3 Classic playlist has boasted as an excellent example of this. A huge range of forgers contributed to making this playlist real, for in all honesty, no greater reward than the excited and gleeful responses from the community. The majority of these people go uncredited for their help. I want you to be able to walk away from this video with 2 things in mind. 1, obviously a newfound understanding of the Forge matchmaking process, and 2, a new appreciation of the total effort that goes into bringing these creations to you, the community. I want to make something very clear. Any forger can get something in matchmaking. The opportunity is equal to everybody in the community. But not everybody will get something in matchmaking, and keep that in mind. Don't hold grudges, don't be offensive or negative or angry. Just be glad to be part of the process of being in the community, knowing that you have just as much opportunity as anybody else. Keep it positive, everybody. It goes a long way. That's gonna do it for this video. Like the video if you thought it was cool, subscribe to the channel if you have not, and follow me on Twitter. Drop a comment below if you still have questions. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.